Hello, geometry world. I'm coming to you live from the beach. Or am I? So, in the last lesson, we looked at the Pythagorean Theorem. Oh, yeah. And we're going to keep doing that with this lesson. So, without further ado, let me share my screen. And we will get into all the good stuff brought to you by the Pythagorean Theorem. Always remember, with the Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But we're not doing just the Pythagorean Theorem, we're doing the converse. Remember, converse means we're switching it around. So yesterday, we looked at the case where when you had the Pythagorean Theorem, we had to find C the whole time. Well, now that won't always be the case. We might have to find B, we might have to find A. We have to figure out what's what. So let's look at our first example here. They ask us to find the value of x. Here's our right angle, so if we look across from it, that's going to be our C. That means the other two, in no particular order, will be A and B. So now I have what I need to solve for. If I can make this into an equation, I'll have 5 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. Now what is 5 squared? 25 plus x squared equals 13 squared, which is 169. Subtract the 25. We get x squared equals 144. Take the square root. And that'll get you x equals, well, the square root of 144 is 12. So in our case, x is 12. Okay, so now, again, we have to find x, but this time it says we have to simplify the radical. So first, let's figure out what A, B, and C are. So the one across from my right angle is always C. There's A, there's B. So it looks like I'm solving for B. So I'm going to say 3 squared plus x squared equals 6 squared. Now, 3 squared is 9. 6 squared is 36. So solving for x, so let's subtract 9. We're going to get x squared equals 27. Now remember from yesterday, when we simplify the radical, we're simply taking the square root of each side, but I'm not putting this as a decimal. I can't take the square root of 27 and get a nice number. So I have to figure out what multiplies to give me 27. I'm going to have 3 and 9. Again, I break the 9 up to get 3 and 3. So this is where we talked about yesterday. Couples go out on a date. Singles stay home. So these come out front. That stays underneath. So x equals 3 square roots of 3. So there's that one. We simplified the radical, meaning we still have a radical in our answer. Okay, next one. We have to find x, but this time it says round to the nearest tenth. So I need to see what's A, what's B, what's C. So that one's always going to be my C. Say A and B. So if I set this up, I'll have 9 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. It's going to be 81 plus x squared equals 289. Subtract the 81. I get x squared equals 208. I have to take the square root of it. And then when I get my answer, I need to round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to take the square root of 208. And when I round to the nearest tenth, I'll get 14.4. There's my answer. Okay, now for these next two, we actually have 2 parts to each problem. We have to find x and we have to find y. So what we need to do is start with the triangle that has 2 sides known to us. So which right triangle has 2 sides known? Well, if I look at this one, how many sides do I know? I only know 1, so I can't do that. If I look at this one, I know the 9 and I know the 15, so that leaves me with only not knowing the y. So that means this is going to be my hypotenuse. There's my A, there's my B. So I'm going to say 9 squared plus y squared equals 15 squared. Now 9 squared is 81. Oh, wait, we need to say what 15 squared is. 15 squared is 225. So subtract 81. We're going to get y squared is 144. Take the square root, and we get y equals 12. That's the first part of our answer. Now, if y is 12 right here, so that part's 12, how do I get this part? (25 minus 12 gives you 13. So this part is 13. Now I've got to do the Pythagorean theorem again to get x. But notice this time x is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to have to say 9 squared plus 13 squared equals x squared. Of course, 9 squared is 81. 13 squared is 169. '81 plus 169 is 250. So now take the square root. Now let's see, what does it tell me to do? It tells me to round to the nearest tenth. So when I take the square root of 250, I'll get that x equals 15.8. And that would be my answer. Okay, on the next one, I want to look for my 2 right triangles that I know. So I've got this one on the left and the big one on the right. Now, how many sides do I know for the one on the left? 2. Square root of 34 and 3. I only know one on the right. So I need to start with this one over here on the left because I know more sides of it. So that means this one is going to be my C. That's A and B. So 3 squared plus y squared equals the square root of 34. Squared. Well, let's see. 3 squared is 9 plus y squared equals the square root of 34 squared. They just undo each other. So that's going to leave us with 34. Subtract 9. We get y squared equals 25. Square root it, and we get y equals 5. So that, my friends, is the y up here. But I still don't know x. So the 11 has to be my c for this triangle. I'm going to say the 5 is a, the x is b. So 5 squared plus b squared equals 11 squared. It's going to be 25 plus b squared equals 121. Let's subtract 25. We're going to get b squared equals 96. Square root it. Since we round to the nearest tenth, we'll get that b is equal to 9.8. Okay, so for this, as far as this goes, that's it for the notes. If you notice, I can't go down anymore. That's it. So notes were short today. I guess that means my time at the beach is short. Darn the luck. So stay tuned for the guided practice.